Welcome back to a third part of my Batman the Animated Series Writer's Bible read-through. This time we're going to focus on the last 60 or so pages. I know it sounds like quite a lot, but trust me, most of these are images. We're going to start here by looking at the episode premises. So these are short paragraphs describing potential episodes. We had previously looked at, let's go back, in part 1, we looked at the heroes and how their backgrounds changed. Batman was mostly unchanged. Robin, I mean, there's an original design there with a slightly different haircut and more detailed costume. And we have an expanded backstory for Commissioner Gordon that, nothing was ever said about it in the show, but it could happen. Or it could have happened, I should say. And we have, similarly with Montoya, an expanded backstory. A lot of stuff that just never appeared in the show, like hating Bruce Wayne. And they call him Harry Bullock, or it's Harvey Bullock. Then in part 2, we went on to... Let's keep going. That's quite a lot of pictures, wasn't it? Part 2, we went on to the villains and found that, the big tentpole villains, like the Joker and Catwoman, broadly, the descriptions provided in this Writer Bible are accurate. But almost everybody else was quite different. So you can see the Penguin there started out looking very different, and he was very much a mother's boy. And the Riddler, you see Catwoman's original design here, very different to what we finally got in the show. The Riddler, again, this was just completely different. None of this was used. You can see his original design there, or at least early design, not necessarily original, early design. Two-Face again was quite different. The look was exactly the same, but his motivations and origin were very different. And then we had Poison Ivy, again, an expanded background. But yeah, I've talked too much about this. So we're going to move on now into the episode premises. So starting off with a birthday party for the mayor's child turns into a nightmare when the Joker, disguised as a performing clown, kidnaps the birthday boy. When the ransom note appears, Batman is lured to an abandoned carnival where the Joker has arranged a gauntlet of traps to welcome the Dark Knight's rescue plan. So this episode is very similar to Be a Clown, except broadcast standards and practices would not allow child endangerment. So a child being kidnapped by the Joker, no, that was not allowed. So what actually happened is that Jordan Hill ran away with the Joker. But this is broadly very similar, so I'm going to keep a tally of how many of these actually got made. Okay, second episode. Exhausting his final lead in a current case, Batman sneaks into Stonegate Prison in order to question a connected prisoner who refuses to talk. Once there, he realizes that the trap has been set by prison kingpin Mr. Big, who comfortably runs his criminal network from within his cell. As word spreads of Batman's presence, a riot ensues. Pursued by sworn enemies furious for revenge, Batman fights his way through the bowels of the prison, only to be captured and marched down death row and strapped into the electric chair. Luckily, the Riddler springs him at the last minute, not about to have the honour of besting Batman robbed from him by a bunch of low-life jailbirds. No, that one was not made. When innocent tourists are murdered by a huge human-like bat, renegade Detective Bullock declares open season on the Batman, not realising that the murderer is in fact the Man-Bat, a product of a misguided scientist's self-inflicted genetic experiments. The Man-Bat flies into a chemical-stealing rampage, hoping to create a serum that will transform him completely into a new species of bat. Meanwhile, the Batman uses the trail of thefts to deduce the plan and develops his own anti-serum. He then sets in motion a plan to lure the Man-Bat to a showdown in the skies above Gotham City. So that's basically on Leather Wings. A couple of details are different. Man-Bat didn't actually kill anyone because they wouldn't allow it. It certainly wasn't tourists. But yeah, the broad strokes there are very, very similar. So that's 2-1 made and not made so far. Next we have number 4. The demented mind of a meek ventriloquist snaps and his machine gun toting puppet Scarface takes over, obsessed with seizing control of Gotham's gambling industry. His crime spree begins with a racetrack heist in order to ruin the opposition, but Bruce Wayne is there watching his racehorses and catches a glimpse of the thieves. Batman arrives and thwarts the robbery, eventually tracing the mad ventriloquist to an offshore gambling barge, which has become a trap to be sprung on the Batman. No, that one was not made. The Read My Lips story was had elements of this, but no, it didn't involve gambling. It was just theft. I mean, they did rob Bookie, I think, at the start of the episode. Yeah, they took their proceeds. But, yeah, everything else is not accurate, no. So Batman is shocked to see criminal mastermind Ra's al Ghul calmly walk into the Batcave. When Ghul reveals that he has kidnapped Robin, he forces Batman to assist in the theft of a jeweled statue of Kali. As Ghul's band of thuggy assassins, I don't know that, begin a crime wave, the Dark Knight must outwit Ghul and rescue Robin. But Ghul's beautiful daughter Talia has other plans for the Batman. No, this was not made. I mean, they basically got Denny O'Neil, who wrote and created Ra's al Ghul, who wrote the introductory story to the character in Batman comics, to adapt his own story, and it's called The Demon's Quest in this show. But it had nothing to do with openly saying that he had kidnapped Robin to force Batman to steal. No, he pretended that his daughter had also been kidnapped and wanted to team up with Batman to rescue them both, but really it was him. So I'm going to say that one was not made. Okay, next episode. District Attorney Harvey Dent's meticulously planned stakeout goes awry when Batman chases a henchman into its midst. Can't say that word. When acid meant for the Batman is hurled into Dent's face, half of his face is destroyed and his overworked mind snaps. Escaping from the hospital, Two-Face is born and with a flip of the coin launches into a crazed crime spree, hoping to lure Batman to his death. No, not made. No. The actual Two-Face two-parter is a lot better than that. I mean, it's true that this description is very comic book accurate, but I'd always thought that Two-Face's motivations were kind of limp in the comics. Like, oh no, I'm ugly now, so I'm going to commit crimes. I don't know. I really love what Alan Burnett and Randy Rogel did in this show. With Harvey Dent, I should say. Okay, so next we have... When a line of mechanical killer toys appear in stores just days before Christmas, all signs point to the Joker. Batman has until midnight to track down the Joker's transmission spot before the Joker goes off the air, and ticking guests going into it. I wonder what that means, ticking guests. Maybe I'm just putting inflection in the wrong place. I mean, but basically this is Christmas with the Joker, so I'm going to say that one was made. I can see why the censors would not allow mechanical killer toys in a Christmas episode. Yeah, okay, fine. Although I guess they do kind of sort of turn up a little bit when you've got the those little fighter planes that attack Batman. But broadly speaking, yes, this is Christmas with the Joker. Okay, what have we got next? An animal trader is bitten by a rare species of lizard while delivering it to Gotham Zoological Gardens and contracts a strange disease that hardens his skin into a bulletproof hide. His mind is warped with an equal toughness and Killer Croc is born, terrorizing the city with the release of reptiles into the sewer and a plot to steal the rare lizards to create an army of invincible followers. But when his theft goes awry, Batman follows him into a reptile-filled sewer and uses his detective skills to track him down. So that is a massive no. No, that was not how they went with Killer Croc in the end. And that is not at all reflective of the comics. So Killer Croc was born with a skin condition that gave him like a tough, leathery hide. And yeah, he was not bitten by a rare species of lizard and given a disease that transformed him into a lizard man and then wants to take over the earth and turn everyone into lizards. That actually sounds like an episode of the 1980s Spider-Man cartoon. Not Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the other one. I had a VHS tape with like 3 episodes on it. There was one with Dr. Octopus stealing oil. One with Dr. Doom hypnotized the United Nations into declaring him master of the world. And one with the lizard where he wanted to turn everyone into lizards. I think that was it. But yeah, no, not accurate. Not accurate. Thankfully. Okay, so next. Wealthy but cruel acquaintance of Bruce Wayne's has set up a private island where rich sportsmen pay top dollar to hunt rare big cats. When the Catwoman gets wind of it, she journeys to the island and soon finds herself hunted. Luckily, Batman arrives on the same trail and both find themselves the prize of the hunter's most dangerous game. No, that one was not made. It's interesting to see that sort of Catwoman as the animal rights person. That being her main motivation is present in this early script. The outline provided by Bruce Timm, Paul Dini and Mitch Bryan, because Sian Catherine Derrick, who is one of the original story editors, I believe she wrote Cat and the Claw, which established this origin, and a lot of people, well, maybe incorrectly, have attributed the Catwoman as animal rights activist, I suppose. They attributed it to her because she was very much in favour of highlighting issues in the world, and having something to say about them. So, I think it was her influence that added the Underdwellers. There we go. There's a bit at the start where the two boys are playing chicken on top of the train. And Batman kind of swoops down and has like a public service announcement for them. So, don't play chicken with trains. A lot of that stuff gets attributed to her because that's the kind of thing that, that her previous cartoons had. I mean, she created Captain Planet, or she worked on Captain Planet, I should say. I don't know if she created Captain Planet. But yeah, anyway, I've kind of gone off on a massive tangent there. But it's interesting to see that, Bruce Timm as Paul Dini and Mitch Bryan had kind of laid the groundwork for Catwoman being a defender of big cats. Okay, so next, the Riddler has infiltrated the lethal security system of a newly constructed skyscraper, and after robbing the building's vaults, sits with his loot on the top floor and challenges Batman to come get him. When Batman arrives, he discovers that the Riddler has reprogrammed the security system to destroy the Dark Knight, and a dizzying array of narrow escapes ensues as he makes his way to the penthouse rendezvous with the Riddler. That one was not made. I have nothing to add on that. I mean, a lot of Riddler episodes weren't made, as we mentioned in a previous video. It's difficult to come up with intelligent puzzles and death traps and so on. I couldn't do it. I don't think I'm an idiot, but you never know. I guess real idiots don't actually know that they are idiots. So, okay. So next we have, locked in the inescapable hard-timers wing of Stonegate Prison, a criminal mastermind known as the Architect is sprung when the impervious walls of Stonegate are miraculously exploded. The Architect dives into the icy waters of Gotham Harbour and never surfaces. Soon, high-security buildings everywhere are breached, and the Batman attempts to thwart the Architect in an adventure that leads him to the Architect's secret submarine base and a battle below the waters of Gotham Harbour. No, that one was not made. The Architect has never appeared in the show, and I feel like, outside of Ra's al Ghul, Gotham's villains shouldn't have like massive sprawling submarine bases and stuff like that. It's very, very 80s cartoon. Like, when you think about how expensive it is just to run a car. I guess that's why he's had to turn to crime in order to keep his submarine afloat. But yeah, basically no, that was not an episode that was made. On to number 12. It's Cap Day at Gotham Stadium, where Bruce Wayne and the Gotham populace don baseball caps chemically treated by the Mad Hatter and his Alice in Wonderland gang. As paranoia sweeps the city, the episode becomes a twisted Batman in Wonderland as the Mad Hatter's robbery scheme uses the ensuing chaos, and a disoriented Batman fights for sanity while trying to thwart the crimes. No, that one did not happen. So it's interesting. This is the first Mad Hatter episode that they've proposed. Not an origin story, just straight into it. Mad Hatter's just trying to steal stuff. I think that the Mad Hatter's motivations in the actual episodes that were produced are far more sympathetic and engaging, even if he is a massive creep. Okay, so next one. When two panels of a famous triptych are stolen and the third destroyed, a series of similar crimes follow, all based on stealing trios of items. In each case, one is destroyed and the remaining two are seized by Two-Face. Setting his sights on the trio of Batman, Robin and Batgirl, he captures Batgirl and lures the dynamic duo to his estate, planning to stalk them all and destroy one of the three, but which one? No. That one did not get made. Although it does sound like some elements were carried over to Shadow of the Bat, which introduced Batgirl, because Two-Face was the protagonist of that story, and he did try to kill Batman, Robin and Batgirl by trapping them in a disused train tunnel. And I forget why. there was an explosion that started letting water in. Presumably that was intentional on Two-Face's part, but it's been a long time since I watched that episode. But yeah, again, I'm going on a massive tangent. So, episode 14. Bruce Wayne is personally supervising the deposit of Wayne Industries files in an underground storage facility when Clayface's well-armed group of thieves descend into the high-security operation. Unable to change into the Batman, Wayne uses the cover of darkness and a flurry of bats from a connecting cavern to convince the villains that the Batman is among them. He then must escape unnoticed and return as Batman, hoping to stop the robbery before it's completed. So that one is another big no, not made. Yeah, I mean, if Clayface is just like a generic thug as outlined in the previous description of the villain, then yeah, it would make sense that he'd have a group of thieves. But the actual version of Clayface they went with was a very tragic, almost sympathetic villain. And he didn't steal for any reason other than to fund his treatment to stop himself from dying. So no, that's a big no, not made. When a psychology professor experimenting the nature of terror develops a serum that unlocks its victims' worst fears, the Scarecrow is created. As he uses this serum to extort money from Gotham's wealthy, he sets his sights on Bruce Wayne, unaware that he'll get more than he bargained for, when Wayne is given the drug and his worst fears of Batman are brought into play. So kind of not. It does sound like Nothing to Fear a little bit, in that the Scarecrow uses his serum, his chemical gas, to bring out people's fears, and he does target Gotham University, but he's not doing it for greed. He's doing it for revenge because they fired him and ruined his experiments. And yes, Batman does get exposed to the gas and his fears are brought into play. Yes, so I'm going to be generous. I'm going to say that one was made, even though there are a lot of details that, don't line up. But broadly speaking, I'll give him that one. Okay, 16th. Ocean vessels are falling prey to robberies by Blackbeard and his band of modern-day pirates. But when an entire ocean liner disappears, Bruce Wayne discreetly charters a cruise following the missing liner's course and finds himself in the Sargasso Seas legendary graveyard of lost ships. I've never heard of that. Discovering that Blackbeard and his band have converted the liner into a hidden half-submerged base, intending to increase their piracy, it's up to Batman to stop them. No, that one was not made. Batman did not fight any pirates, as far as I can recall. I'm trying to think, was there anything even pirate-like in Justice League or Batman Beyond? I don't think so. No, I can't think of anything. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Now we're on to the last page of episodes. Number 17. After a freak accident in his cryogenics lab, Mr. Freeze is created and uses the lab as a front for the theft of a valuable ice called Diamond. As museums and jewelry stores suddenly freeze and diamonds are stolen, Batman's detective skills lead him north to Freeze's Arctic smuggling operation and a battle in the snow with the deadly cold foe. So no, that was not made. No, that actually sounds a bit more like a 1966 Batman episode to me. So Mr. Freeze is robbing stores in Gotham and going to the Arctic to smuggle them. I don't know, that just seems weird. If he's going to be going to the Arctic... Okay, I'm not suggesting that there are diamond stores to rob in the Arctic, but he could go to any other city, like somewhere where Batman isn't, to steal diamonds and then take them to the Arctic. If he's doing all that travelling anyway, perhaps I've discovered why this episode was not made, and not just because Paul Dini had a better idea for Mr. Freeze. When the lights come up at Gotham's Opera Hall, the wealthy audience finds all of their valuables stolen. Among the audience is Bruce Wayne, and soon the Batman is pitted against the Mad Maestro, whose compositions have recently been rejected by the Gotham Musical Academy. Vowing revenge on the judging committee, the Madman begins a musical reign of terror from his hidden lair in the Gotham Opera House. No, that was not made, and that character does not exist. Although the outline kind of reminds me a little bit of Make 'Em Laugh, in which the Joker seeks revenge on a stand-up comedy judge panel who basically rejected him and didn't let him perform. And he kind of ruins their lives by using Mad Hatter's technology to make them into crappy villains like the Condiment King, Pack Rat, and Mighty Mom. But yeah, that episode did not happen. While investigating a series of crimes attributed to the mysterious Poison Ivy, Batman is poisoned, and he and Robin have only 24 hours to track down Poison Ivy and the antidote. As the Batman weakens in the final hours, the salvation of the Dark Knight is entirely in Robin's hands and the clock is ticking. No, that one did not get made. That sounds like an interesting premise, I suppose, but I wonder if it would be a particularly thrilling 22-minute episode. Maybe not. It sounds kind of like half-formed, really. Number 20. The mysterious Batman has been sighted 3 different times in one night by a trio of cops, including Officer Renee Montoya. As the 3 sit in a coffee shop, each recounts their adventure, prejudiced by their own personality and opinions of the Batman. Montoya leaves, putting elements from the story together, and realises that each story is part of what must be the Batman's current case. By calculating his next move, she finds herself side by side with the Dark Knight and helps him complete the criminal case. Yeah, broadly, this one was made. So this one is POV or POV, depending on how you pronounce it. Slightly different in that the 3 police officers are present at the same place, but just in different parts. So they see Batman at different stages during his interaction at this warehouse. And Batman ends up being knocked out and taken away by the criminals, and Montoya ends up rescuing him. So, yeah. So that one was made. So, yeah, I'll give him that one. Next, the Scarecrow infects Gotham's water supply and jams TV and radio transmissions with images and sounds of the Batman, triggering an epidemic of bat terror in the populace. When Batman is spotted that night, he finds himself pursued by a rabid mob of police and citizens as he attempts to track down the Scarecrow and his antidote. No, sorry, this one did not get made. It sounds a little similar to a story in Batman Adventures, the tie-in comic books written by Marty Pasco, where the Scarecrow kind of disrupts people's ability to read, and it causes all sorts of panic and chaos in Gotham. But no, this episode did not get made. And I believe this is the last one. Gotham's most famous illusionist Zatanna promises to make the Gotham Mercantile Bank disappear on her televised special. The bank disappears, but when it returns, all the money is gone. Swearing innocent, she is jailed, but Batman's investigation reveals the crime was the work of the Gentleman Ghost. It isn't long before wolfish Bruce Wayne comes up with the beautiful Zatanna's bail bond, and almost immune to Wayne's charm, Zatanna is soon visited by Batman, and the two of them set out to track down the ghost and his money. So I'm actually going to say that this one was made because, you know, the episode Zatanna follows a very similar plot. Just the issue is that it didn't feature the Gentleman Ghost. It was what's his name? Was it Montague Kane? Something like that. This one basically was made. The broad premise is the same. So out of those 22 episodes, we have 6 that made it to the TV series, and 5, 10, 15, 16 that didn't. I should have just been able to do the basic maths there, but I did not. So the majority of these episodes were not made, or they directly contradict episodes that were made. So what's now? Okay, so now for the next 90 odd pages, we've got a whole bunch of illustrations here. So let's start off with the Man-Bat. Yep, so I think this is called a turnaround, where you show the character from a number of different perspectives, so you can see what they look at like from the front, side and back. That is a thug. He's got a moustache. Hood number 2, apparently. I don't know who he is, but there we go. That's just an indicator of what the characters would look like. A Batman diving in front of a woman and she's gasping. The early design for Catwoman, watching on as one of her big cats fights Batman and tears him to pieces. Some illustrations of Batman, some headshots, some like dynamic poses, and a few more of them here. And the final designs here for Catwoman, the Riddler, and Mr. Freeze. That Riddler one looks a little bit derpy, and I'm not quite sure why. I think it's the hat. The hat just doesn't quite look right to me. But anyway. Then we've got the villains, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, and the Mad Hatter. I think Kevin Nolan designed the Mad Hatter. I think he did. He also did the early designs for the Joker. Mike Mignola obviously designed Mr. Freeze. I say obviously, but most people know that. And the good guys. So we've got Commissioner Gordon and Renee Montoya. Harvey Dent, Harry Bullock. Harvey Bullock, come on. Nice picture there of Batman vaulting over I think it's a gargoyle. Some more dynamic Batman poses. Commissioner Gordon's car. Wow, why did they never release an action figure of that? Although I do remember they did a little like die-cast metal Bruce Wayne's car, which was like an orange colour. And they also did the police helicopter. I really like this police. I don't even know what you would call it, but it's like the SWAT vehicle where like the back of it lifts up and all the SWAT guys come running out going. I think it's a really cool design, and obviously everyone loves the blimps, right? Bruce Wayne's car, yeah, I mentioned that earlier. There's an ambulance, and Bullock's car. Honestly, I'm not seeing much of a difference between Bullock's car and Commissioner Gordon's car, but I'm not really a car person, so. There's a look at the Batmobile with the open top. Yeah, so you can see a Gotham City skyline here with Batman superimposed over the top. Okay, so these seem to be colour codes for each of the characters and their body parts. So Batman's flesh colour, PMS 473, whatever that means. Eyes white, logo, yeah. And you kind of get like a sense of scale in terms of height for each of the characters. So Batman's a good head taller than Robin. Commissioner Gordon, yep. Harvey Dent's half a head taller than Batman. Yep, half a head taller than Batman. There's Summer Gleason. Montoya and Bullock, Hamilton Hill, the Riddler, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze. So if you ever wondered what colour Mr. Freeze's boots are, arms, no, it's black. Gloves and boots are PMS 272. I hope that means something to somebody. It doesn't mean anything to me. And somebody has added the Mad Hatter on here. Get a look at Scarecrow there with his original design before they introduced like the straw hair and the bag face. Not bag face, sorry. That I would call it like the pumpkin face. And then we have the Penguin, Catwoman, and the Joker. Interestingly, the Joker seems to be like a whole head shorter than Batman, but when you see them in the show, they seem to be of like comparable height. Okay, let's have a look at this bit. The good guys. Summer Gleason, the nightly anchor person of the scandal tabloid news show Inside Gotham. Summer is ever suspicious of Bruce Wayne. Anyone that rich and famous must have something to hide, she surmises, and she isn't above prying into millionaires' personal life to unearth secrets. Yeah, okay, that's a summary of what we read in part 1 of my videos. Mayor Hamilton Hill, fearing a loss of votes from pro-Batman constituents, the mayor hasn't taken a clear stance either for or against Batman, but he invariably rallies behind the Caped Crusader when it is politically expedient. Detective Bullock, he shoots first and asks questions next week. He's Detective Harvey Bullock. Hey, they got the name right here. A crass and bitter loudmouth who believes that his badge gives him the authority to break the rules. Bullock hates Batman, seeing him as the unauthorized meddler who is muscling in on his territory. Alfred, longtime butler to Bruce Wayne, is Batman's most trusted aide, always available to act as a behind-the-scenes operative. Alfred has a dry, wicked wit that keeps Batman from taking himself too seriously. Officer Montoya, young, tough and cynical policewoman Renee Montoya, has grudging respect for Batman, even though at times she finds herself opposed to his vigilante methods. In her off hours, Montoya tends to Gotham's poor and homeless. Harvey Dent, crusading attorney Harvey Dent, is Batman's closest ally in the Gotham legal system and the Dark Knight's one true friend. Driven by his thirst for justice, Dent secretly enlisted Batman's aid in nailing the city's deadliest gangsters. Yeah, not quite. Commissioner Gordon, one of the city's few uncorruptible cops. Commissioner James Gordon is loved by Gotham's citizens and hated by its criminals. Officially, he cannot condone Batman's methods. Unofficially, though, he supports the Dark Knight however he can. Main models, there's Selina Kyle, revised on January the 18th, 1992. I wonder if that's when they decided to go with the blonde hair rather than the black hair. There's that similar picture of Batman being mauled by a big cat. There's a policeman, Two-Face, Ra's al Ghul and the Joker. Another generic gangster with different styles of moustache. Yep, some more gangsters. That one looks a bit like Bullock. There's Man-Bat. There's Batman flying over Gotham City towards Two-Face. That's another heavily photocopied shot of Gotham that is very hard to make out. Same with this one. It's very atmospheric though. There's the famous show logo, but it's been photocopied a million times. And here we've got Batman swinging by. More looks at the good guys with Mayor Hill, Samuel and Alfred. Batman attitudes. So that's what they're called when they do the little headshots with the different expressions. So those are Bruce Wayne's expressions. More expressions from Bruce Wayne. I like that one. That one's kind of sly. And that one. Yeah, very expressive. Yeah, well, there's a lot of focus here on Bruce Wayne's expressions. When you think they've probably done dozens of these sheets for every single character. Some more so than others, maybe. But yeah, I'd love to see more stuff like this. Here's some attitudes for Bullock. Oh, that's a good one of Bullock. It looks like someone's eaten the last donut. Yep, Alfred, these are cool. Commissioner Gordon lounging in his chair. That's his Vogue cover shoot pose there. I don't know why I said Vogue. I don't know. I don't know magazines. Shut up, leave me alone. Yep, Summer Gleason. I get the impression she was supposed to be a more prominent figure in this show, but she's barely in it. There's Batman. The logo without being photocopied to hell. Batman swinging in front of a big clock. Batman outside of the museum. Humongo Video. That was in an episode. Which episode was Humongo Video in? Because I remember it made me laugh, the name. Oh, damn. Oh, that's going to bug me. Someone tell me in the comments, please. Batman outside of Arkham Asylum. There we go. Batman in front of a cityscape. I'm not going to bother rotating that one because it looks quite good. Batman kind of falling weirdly. Yeah, very poignant. Two-Face hanging in the balance on the scales. Batman, 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 Batman. I'm not going to say Batman every time. Look at the vehicles. That's his Batcycle. Batman and his Batboat. The Batwing. More Bruce Wayne faces. Not a sharp point on his chin. Yes, a rounded point on his chin. And there he is, looking fed up in a meeting, carrying a briefcase. Now these are quite cool. Little instructions for how to draw Batman. Top highlight usually attaches between ear line and tip of the eye, but it doesn't always work, so use this rule only as a general guide. Ears can sweep forward to emphasize action. Don't scoop out the chin too much. Always see both ears even in profile. Ears sweep back. Ears can realistically sweep back for emphasis. Basic construction. Lose cheek line if it gets in the way. Always lose it in straight on shots. Show underside of nose and chin only when absolutely necessary. Avoid straight up shots. Usually looks bad. Don't put his mouth down too low. Yeah. That is a meme image right there. Just oh. It looks kind of dorky. Yes, it absolutely does. Ears slightly, is that slightly thick and straight? Also chin squared off. Yep, okay. More good guys here with Batgirl, the attractive redhead daughter of the police commissioner, Barbara Gordon is a high school student who works part-time in the public library. In a misguided attempt to meet Batman, she has donned a look-alike costume and prowls the night as Batgirl, seeking out Gotham's most notorious lawbreakers. Not accurate, I'm afraid. Dick Grayson. Young Dick Grayson was orphaned when his aerialist parents, the Flying Graysons, fell to their death. A skilled member of the Act, Dick managed to escape death himself only by grasping a guy wire as the ring collapsed. Shortly thereafter, the boy became the ward of Bruce Wayne, who not only provided him with home and solid financial support, but also allowed him to enter into the secret world of Batman. Partially correct. Bruce Wayne. As a young boy, Bruce Wayne saw his parents fall victim to senseless crime. His goal became that of doing everything in his power to avenge their deaths by fighting Gotham's criminal elements as Batman. But by day, he is wealthy, jet-setting philanthropist Bruce Wayne. Wayne is a man of compassion when it comes to fighting poverty and urban decay in Gotham City through the Wayne Foundation. That is accurate, yes. Weirdly, Hugo Strange is in The Good Guys. When Hugo Strange is not a good guy. Dr. Hugo Strange, a brilliant, egotistical but warped psychiatrist, Dr. Hugo Strange uses his knowledge of the human mind for his own evil ends, as if Gotham didn't have enough problems. Why is he listed with the good guys then? This is obscene. And some Joker attitudes there. Some more lovely expressive faces there. Oh my god, they really did enjoy drawing Bruce Wayne. Sipping a drink, that wouldn't be allowed by broadcast standards and practices unless it was very clearly orange juice. Or a Coke. But they probably wouldn't allow the brand to be used, so what am I talking about? Yep, Bruce Wayne pointing. Look up there. What's that up there? He says as he quickly changes into his Batman outfit. Yeah, there's absolutely loads of Bruce Wayne drawings in here. Absolutely loads of them. I wonder if that's supposed to be Summer Gleason, because he's kissing her hand and she seems quite enamoured with him, but, you know, according to this Bible, she suspects him of having dark secrets. So that seems a bit weird. Yeah, God, they really love Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne having a nice biscuit, or I should say a cookie, if you're American, with his coffee. Reading the newspaper. Leaning on his golf club. I'm just providing banal commentary for all of these Bruce Wayne pictures. I'm sorry, it's rubbish. But these drawings are beautiful. I did say I wanted to see more, so great. I would just like to see other characters. Yeah, some Batman headshots there. Please use logo on all models regarding Batman. Okay, revised on February the 26th of 1991 and also April the 4th of 1991. Some more Joker attitudes here. Very, very expressive expressions. Yep. From March 15th, 1991. That one in the middle there is... It's unusual. I guess he's got his eyes closed, so they're trying to show what it looks like with his eyes closed. Oh, is that the end? Okay, so that is the last page of the Batman Animated Series Writer's Bible, and good God, this part has gone on really long as well. I'm glad I split it into 3. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting document to look at. I mean, I particularly, as much as I was laughing about all these, you know, these Bruce Wayne attitudes, it was really great seeing how much work goes into designing a single character. Now, I know Bruce Wayne is like a very central figure in the show. But yeah, I mean, when you think of how many characters there were dozens of characters as well as plenty of incidental background characters. Some of them got reused, admittedly. But when you think of all the work that has to go into it, it's astonishing. No wonder it took them years to get this cartoon out the gate. But yeah, it's really great to see what they were originally thinking when they started developing the show, and to compare it with the final release is really quite something. I'm going to end on this page because I like the descriptions. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it all the way through this, I appreciate it. Every minute of viewer time counts. Yeah, I guess thanks again for watching. Take care, and I'll end it there.